What's going on, people? How you doing? It's Uncle Dallas, Pastor Dallas, Brother Dallas. However you want to slice it, it's me. Today we're going to get into the third part. I'm trying to get my computer to do what it's supposed to do. Today we're going to get into the third part of this teaching that has been really, really good. I really have enjoyed teaching it. So we get into part 3. So get your pencil and paper ready, get all your stuff ready. Let me get all my situations ready. Yeah. Get your pencils and paper ready, get everything ready. Today we're going to talk about being aware. One of the challenges that a lot of people have when it comes to moving forward is we are not really aware, or we are aware of the wrong things. So today, I'm William Dallas, Higher Standards Chronicles. Let's be aware. Hello everybody, I am William Dallas. This is the Higher Standards Chronicles. This is where you learn how to get your mind, the spirit of your mind right. We've been working on a series that, we've been working on a series called The Three Principles, the 3 spiritual principles that attract wealth. That is what we're working on today. So get your notepads together, get your paper together. We're going to continue down that road. Yesterday we talked about where are you and where are you going. So for those of you that got those notes and that kind of thing, they're still here. It's on yesterday's video, so you can watch that video today or watch it later on today and kind of get into it. Today we're going to go a little deeper. What I'm realizing over the years is that there are people, and I promised myself I would do this, so y'all forgive me. There are people that are really operating in where they really need to operate, but they wonder why things are not happening. And one of the main reasons that things aren't happening in your life could have something to do with what we're talking about today, being aware. Being aware. And the first time that I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the things that stood out to me was when he said to be aware. When he said to be aware. So when he said that, I was kind of like, okay, what do you mean be aware? What do you mean be aware? So a lot of times what happens to us, we give attention to the wrong thing in an attempt to try to do the right thing. And give me a second, people. I told you I'm doing all this myself. So we give attention to we pay attention to the wrong thing in an attempt to do the right thing. So what happens to us, we think we're doing the right thing because we have a mentality of trying to be, and I want to say Christian, and if you're with me yesterday, that means something to you, in an attempt to be right, in an attempt to be correct. So what I've learned that we can move, okay, I got to make sure this is right. It's right. Okay. We can move in new areas, all these wonderful areas in the spirit, but we have to understand what we are doing, what we are aware of. We have to be aware of what's necessary to get that thing done. Boom. And boom. Now, I've made it a point to leave those of you that can't get on YouTube. We're on YouTube right now. Those of you that can't get on YouTube, I'm leaving Instagram up because some of us can't get to YouTube because we're not next to a computer and we may not know how to turn our phone to YouTube. But anyway, so what we talked about yesterday, and I'm going to kind of flip the way. What we talked about yesterday is where are you and where are you going? Excuse me. We talked about that yesterday. And basically we say, okay, where are you located? What's your thing? What's your present position? What is where you are? How do you know that? Where are you spiritually? Where are you naturally? Where are you? We looked at this diagram here. This diagram saying where you're spiritually, where you're mentally, where you're physically. And those things have put you in a position. And because you're in that position, now you have to understand, what do I do within that position? So today we're going to talk about being aware. Being aware. I hear the new word is being awake. Being awake. That's the new word. I'm awake. I'm woke. I'm awake. I realize that, and I realize that a lot of people that say they're awake aren't actually awake. They're actually just conscious. You follow me? You ever get up in the morning, and when you get up in the morning, you're up, but you're not out of the bed. So you're not moving or making any motions. You're just kind of up. And so if you've ever been in that position, you understand what I mean when I say that. A lot of us are up, but we're not awake. I mean, we're awake, but we're not up. And so we're not woke. So when I begin to look at this thing, I begin to understand that I needed to be aware in a specific way. I couldn't simply be aware of my surroundings. I had to be aware of where I am, who I am, and what I am. So let's start with this slide right here. Let's start with this slide right here. Okay. Yes, at 10:30 in the morning, you were doing a training. So get ready for it. It says spiritual attraction is the ability to attract those things that can only be accessed by the Spirit. It is accessing the types of it is accessing the type of insight that allows you to take advantage of opportunities that may not be seen by the naked eye. Now, like I said, what you have to realize is you operate in a spiritual realm. A lot of you don't know it, but you operate in the spiritual realm. The challenge is you've allowed your sensitivities be based on emotion, how you feel, what someone said to you, what someone has done to you. That's how you define your existence. The worst thing that's happened to me, the best thing that's happened to me. You define your existence by that. But to be spiritually attractive is to understand. Make sure to go next slide. Is to be spiritually attractive is to understand that you are a conscious spirit. You are not just a dormant spirit that's running around going, I can do spiritual stuff, I can be spiritual. You are a conscious, able spirit. And what you have to realize when it comes to that, you cannot be defined by religion. You cannot be defined by situations. You can't be defined by circumstances. What you have to understand is, as that spirit, you carry a level of opportunity and a level of power that is unrivaled by anything that has happened in your life. For example, I make a lot of comments about things that my wife and I want to do. So when we decided to make the decision to when we decided to go to Bora Bora, we want to fly Bora Bora, we want to do it for total free. So we decided we take Sky Miles. I was totally willing to buy some Sky Miles and use those Sky Miles to get to where I wanted to get to. But what's interesting was the moment that we got on the last flight, I think we were going from New Orleans, they held up a card and said, hey, if you want this amount of points, do this. Now, something spiritual happened, because what I had to deal with is what I spoke and the power of my ability to speak it. Hear me now. Not my power of being positive, not my power of manifesting, my spiritual power and the ability to speak what I spoke. Does it make sense? So one thing leads to the other. We get the cards, we get the 60,000 points, we're moving on the process. This happens to you a lot. How many of you have ever been thinking about somebody and that moment that person calls? How many of you have been thinking about somebody and the phone rings, or thinking about something that pops up on television. Thinking about something or it happens on your phone. Well, the phone is different because the Big Brother's watching. That is you accessing the level of the spirit of the unlimited knowledge. The challenge that happens is you have to know and be aware that that's what it is, so that next time you give more attention to listening to it, so that you can utilize it for your benefit. Now, check this out. Watch this. Your spirit is the purest version of you. This is where all of your greatness exists. For years, in an attempt to control people, we have been offered alternative sources of identity. Let me stop right there before we go any further. Women have been limited to their physical. Men have been limited to their financial. Your world has been limited to your tragedy. All these things gave an attempt to give you an alternative identity, to keep you from seeing yourself spiritually. Why? I said yesterday, if I can pull you away from spirit, I pull you away from the spirit, I can control you, because that's the purest form of you, but it is also the most powerful form of you. And you're going to hear it all over the place. You're going to hear it everywhere you go. You're going to hear people say, oh my God, your mind is so powerful. It is. But your mind is like, I use an analogy, gunpowder. Your mind is gunpowder. In and of itself, yes, gunpowder is a powerful form. It is combustible. But something has to touch the gunpowder to cause the power to be manifested in what it is. My granduncles in the country used to feed their dogs gunpowder, said it made them meaner. So what happens is you have this potential powerful person, or this potential power, and what has to happen, something has to ignite the power. Passion ignites your power. The spirit ignites passion. Say that again. Passion ignites your power. The spirit ignites your passion. Say it one third time. Passion ignites your power. When you are passionate about something, you focus your power and your attention on that you're passionate about. So passion ignites power, but the spirit ignites passion. So stop living the alternative existence or the alternative identity that they're giving you. You are powerful. So what happens, it happens to a lot of times with women. What happens is they take the power from the women, and then once they take the power from the woman, they go, I want to empower you. But I'm already powerful. But I have to strip you of spiritual power to give you natural power or mental power or physical power. The health industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, because once I strip you of your spiritual power, you now are lost. And so you then have to identify with a different level of power. Why? You were designed to operate in power. You were designed to move toward power. And whatever that power is, you are attracted to it, and it is attracted to you. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's read a little further. Okay, so the organic access to God, which is your truest form, there are not divisions in the spirit. There is power and not. Let me just read on through this. There's power and not. If you are operating in power, you are not operating if you're not operating in power, if you're not operating in power, you're not operating in the truest form, spirituality. The ability to access unlimited information is a product of your organic state. Simply put, it is the version of you that cannot fail. Spirituality, being spiritual, is the part of you that cannot fail. Now, I'm saying all this for a reason. I'm not just saying it because I want you to know how well. I'm saying this for a reason. So I'm saying be aware. Now, what does that mean, be aware? When you are aware, then you understand that everything around you is either building into, make sure these are off. They're either building into your power or causing you to increase power. This is going to kind of mess y'all up. It's either building into power or causing you to increase power. You follow me? So if you look at the fact that you cannot fail and you will not fail, then your perspective of what you're doing becomes different. So now what you're looking at is you're looking at the ability to enhance or increase your level of power. You follow me? So what does that mean? I want to start a business. If I access the spirit, I access something that doesn't fail. If I access my mind, I access something that has to be convinced. Say it again. If I access the spirit, I access something that does not fail. If I access my mind, I have to access my mind. I have to find something that convinces me that I can be successful. If I access my flesh, my body, it makes me feel like I have to feel my success. You follow me? I have to feel my success. And most people, if you're not spiritual, that's what you do. You limit yourself to your mind and your body. So in the battle of being wealthy or the battle of being successful, you have 3 weapons. You only use 2 of them. Why? Because if I use 2 of them, then I can control you and you're weaker than using all 3. But what can you imagine what would happen if you use all 3? Now, for those of you that are on Instagram and going to my YouTube page, as soon as you hit YouTube, it's down at the bottom. The link is down at the bottom. When you hit that, come in, give me a thumbs up, give me a hi, let me know you're here. What would it be like if you could use all 3 of your abilities? If you could use your spiritual ability, your mental ability, and your physical ability, and they all work together as one. And you realize that the source of your spiritual ability would not allow you to fail in whatever thing that you did. So what you would find yourself doing is not jumping on things that you felt like would be good ideas, because you get the goose pimply feeling. You would not jump on things that have convinced you to be good ideas. Why? Because they've given you enough information to convince you. You would be dealing with things that have ignited your passion and explode the combustion of your body. So you say your passion ignites that thing, but the spirit ignites your passion. So what you would be in is a thing that has been ignited by the spirit to create passion and then combusted by your mind, because now this potential power of your mind happens. What happens is you become unlimited in your accesses and your resources. I know of Christian businessmen. I know of people that make money that are Bible carriers, that believe in God, that do not know this. They have no idea. Why? Because, see, when you operate as a spiritual person, you are not simply limited to the ability to pray for something to happen or pray for something not to happen. That's not the only ability you have. The ability you have is the ability to be in the right place at the right time. So what happens is you become aware of your spiritual atmosphere. That's why I said yesterday, where are you and where you're going? So you become aware of your spiritual atmosphere. The challenge that most people have is their spiritual atmosphere is defined by money or the lack of money. When your spirit can put you in a position where you don't need money to accomplish what other people needed money to accomplish. Why? Because you walk in a level of power. You walk in a level of power. Follow me here. Check this out. Check this out. Here's the spiritual concept. Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, and the 18th verse says this: "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power, the ability to produce wealth, and so He can confirm His covenant which He swore to your ancestors as it is today. It says, remember, but remember it's the Lord God who gives you the ability to get wealth. Here's where we have our challenge. He's not giving you the ability as an assignment toward a specific thing. He's released the ability to you. Now, if we do this thing in the biblical standpoint, we jump to 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter and the 10th verse that says this. But it is revealed by his Spirit, for the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. So here's the thing that you have to realize with that. Here's the thing you have to realize. I got to make sure my notes are staying on plan. He gives you the ability. Okay. He gives you, it says, remember. There is your awareness. When you walk into the things that you walk into, hear me very closely. When you walk into the things that you walk into, you don't walk into them with the hope that they're going to be successful. You walk into them with the understanding and the remembering or reanimating God. I did a class called Remembering, meaning reassembling. I remember. I put the members of this situation back together. So I remember God. I remember. I put back together. I reconstruct the organism, or I reconstruct what he said to me or what I am. So he says, remember it is God. Remember the Lord your God. Remember the source of your inspiration. Remember the source of your power. Be aware that you're moving into a level that you have already had you've defeated already. You've already won. The key becomes understanding the access of the Spirit. Now let me help you out with something. Let me help you out. Okay? When you do this, you understand this one thing. You are not trying to go to access something that has not belonged to you. You're going to access what is already been assigned to your life. So now you're at a point where you understand, as I begin to move forward, something ignites my passion. And when it ignites my passion, it gives my mind combustion, and my mind, because it is now connected to my spirit, it gives my body an order to walk in that thing. But here's what happens. You now unleash the ability to move to another level, and you release that atmosphere in such a way that you're already moving in that direction, and those things are being attracted to you. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, okay, let's do an example. Okay, you want a new car. Let's just say you want a new car. All right. So in the process of you wanting a new car, you go out and you purchase everything that you can purchase, or you read up on every book that you can read up when it comes to that book. So you do like I told you, like I instructed you to do. You sit down and you write down the car that you want. You write down everything you want about the car. You write down everything you know about the car. Is it a good car? Is it a bad car? All those kind of things. Now, what is that doing? That's putting you in the mindset of the ability to receive. Okay? So you begin to do all the things. You put the things together. You make the things happen. All those things. So now as you begin to do it, you begin to see that car everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see the Mercedes. Everywhere you go, you see the Bentley. Everywhere you go, you see the Cadillac. And so what happens is, it's like the atmosphere knows that you're looking for a car. That's one way. You're sitting somewhere and you're thinking about somebody, and that person calls you. It's the atmosphere knows that you're ready to take the call. You're ready to hear from that person. When you get into that place, you release a level of the atmosphere. So when I say you're remembering, it's like the opposite of dismembering. You're remembering God. You're remembering the power he gave you. So what you're doing is you're remembering the spiritual aspects or the spiritual ability that you have. You follow me? You remember the spiritual ability that you have. And so when you remember the spiritual ability that you have, you don't walk into this hoping. You don't walk into this wondering. You walk into this thing knowing that you can beat it. You're knowing that you can win. And so what happens to us is we find ourselves looking for opportunities to win instead of understanding that we can win. Make sense? Okay. So check this out. Let me give you this now. Check this out, because this is the part. This part here. This part is what blew my mind. This is what really got me when I was working on this teaching. I mean, check this out. Check this out, guys. Okay, so follow me here. Follow me here. Check this out. The spiritual concept is accepting the ability and walking in the responsibility. Check this out. Now, y'all see that? Check this out. This blew my mind. This blew my mind, because when I realized what responsibility was, we took it as a pressure to do certain things. Oh my God, I'm responsible for this. I'm responsible to take care of these people. I'm responsible to take care of these situations. Did y'all see how that was written down? Let me get that to you. Check it out. It's responsibility. It means that you are now empowered to respond to any situation that may happen in your life. It means you are empowered to have to let any situation happen in your life. So you have the response ability. That thing blew my mind. That thing messed me up, because I took responsibility as a thing that pressured me to live or operate a specific way. But what responsibility does is proves that I'm still spiritual. That's crazy. Responsibility proves that I'm still spiritual. Responsibility says I am powerful enough to be ready to respond to whatever you bring me, and not respond to it in my, let me give you my three things. Not respond to it in my body and my mind, but I've been equipped in my spirit to respond to it. So I have the ability to respond. I have the ability to respond to that thing. So now when I understand my awareness, I look around my world and I begin to say, wow, I can beat any of these things that happen to me. I can beat any of the situations that take place. Why? Because I have the ability to respond. Now, if I operate in the spirit, not only do I have the ability to respond, I have the ability to respond correctly to the specific situation so that it will produce what I wanted it to produce, and cause me to operate in the level that I wanted it to operate. You are equipped to succeed. You have been equipped to succeed. The challenge that has happened is you've been living, what did this one say? There we go. I should have highlighted this. I should have highlighted this one. You've been living an alternate identity. You've been living an alternate identity. You've been living an alternate identity. Let me get back to where I was. You've been living an alternate identity. Do you follow what I'm saying? So here's what's funny. You've been living the identity of a Christian. Alternate identity. The identity of a Church of God in Christ. The identity of a businessman. The identity of a real estate agent. The identity. You've been living the identity that is less than who you are and limited in your ability to have power. You follow me? So you will follow after someone that is limited in power and deny the ability to have all power. So what happens to a lot of us is we find ourselves going, what am I going to do about this? And then we begin to research the things that are less than our ability, that are not powerful as we are. You follow me? It's that Sean Connery in Untouchable said, he said, just like a person, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. You have now been stripped of one of your assets, one of your powerful pills, one of your superpowers. And that's your spirit. Why? Because your spirit is not something that is designed by your hurts, your disappointments. Your spirit is something that is designed by God to give you as many attributes that are divine as you can handle, which is all of them. So now I have response ability. Y'all saw how that looked? Response ability. So I have that ability. Now, what do I do with the responsibility? I don't respond. Let me look at that. Y'all look at that again. Check that out. Let me teach you something while I'm watching this. What I do is I don't respond until the ability has been given to me to respond. Is that good? Isn't that good? That is great. I really like that. But that means that I'm not building myself on just the response. I'm building the ability to respond. Now, how do we build the ability to respond? There's a passage in the Bible that says, with all you're getting, get understanding. Hey, is that Xavier? Give me a call. Give me a call after this show. What's my ability to respond? So that means with all my getting, get understanding. So I'm understanding, so I have the ability to, hear me, respond. Now, here's my key. This is the part that got me now. Not only do I have the ability to respond, within my ability to respond, I have the ability to win. So I always answer according to that ability, but my ability to win. So as I respond according to the ability that's given to me, I don't speak until it's time to speak. I don't move until it's time to move. Why? Because I'm aware of a power or a source that is greater than my limited source of mind and body. Most of you have limited your life to your mind and your body. That's why it's hard to do certain things, because you are thinking, if I can get this done, if I can make this happen, and never going, I am a spirit. I have the ability to make this happen. Not only does I have the ability, I have the strength to do it as well. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. So here's the deal. Now, we're going to take this a little further, because I need you guys to really understand what is going on. So response ability is power to respond. Say it again. Response ability is power to respond. So the reason that you take your time when it comes to that response is you understand that the power to respond comes from the access of the Spirit. So you have to be aware of the Spirit. You have to be aware of the Spirit. If you're not aware of the Spirit, what you'll find yourself doing is being aware of something. Remember, you are attracted to power. So you either have power that is you've been convinced of power, or power that you feel is power. Follow me? Convinced is power that your mind says. Your mind says that that leader, or that pastor, that person has a lot more information, because they convince you that they have 7 different degrees. So you're convinced of their power, or you feel that that person is powerful. Why? They've done something, or if you felt something, they've lifted you, they pushed you, they've operated in such physical strength, or they look like they have strength. They look like they have muscles. So you operate in that strength. You live according to that strength. So here's the key. True power and true strength is your ability to allow your spirit to merge with the Spirit of God, the universe, and give you the path and the way to respond to every situation. You follow me? Every situation. This is being aware. This is what being aware is about. This is what. Let's go back to this passage. This particular slide. Yeah, let's go back to this particular slide. Right here. This particular slide says, remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth. So what you have to understand is your awareness becomes memory. Where is the spiritual response in this situation? Where is the spiritual response in these circumstances? Where is the access to the next level? Where is it? Where do I look to get to the access of the next level? This is what you have to understand. Because if you remember it's God that giveth power to get wealth, you have to realize that there is power around you and power inside of you. Does that make sense? I hope it does. There's power inside of you and power around you. Now, check this out. Let me take you to this was not the last slide, the next slide. Check this out. When you are aware, there are 3 avenues that you need to become aware in. Avenue number 1 is your personal route. Number 2, that is not supposed to be personal route twice. That's supposed to be what's your personal. Oh, it's not personal. Your personal route. Second is your personal routine, and third is your spiritual purpose. Your personal route, your personal routine, and your spiritual purpose. Successful people have mastered these 3 areas. Your personal route, your personal routine, and then your personal purpose. If you notice that routine says route, routine has route in it. What is your routine? Now, every place you go, you master that place. Because you become aware that you have the ability to master that place. So every place you go, you master that place. You don't allow anybody else to master it. You don't allow anybody to come and tell you that you can't master it. Every place you go, you master that place. So in your route toward your destination, you will realize that there will be things that be attracted from your spirit. Here's the things I need you to understand. Let me give you some things. Number 1, in your spiritual walk or in your spiritual existence, there's no bad and there's no good. There's no regrets in your spiritual existence. You don't regret it. When you did it, you were big and bad enough to do it, so you did it. So you're big and bad enough to do it, so you did it. So there's no regrets. There's penance or repentance, meaning I apologize for its effect, but there is no regret, nor is there any guilt. Because you did it. There's guilt. You don't worry about that. So there's no bad, there's no good. There's on your path and off your path. Now, a lot of you people that are going to church and living in church are going to kind of question that. And I understand. I can understand that. But what you have to know is we've been taught that we live under a God that is angry with his people. The word love is never really addressed, but he's angry with his people. We are living in a world that says if you are not under this roof or under the roof of this religion, you're not going to make it to heaven. And if anybody pulls you to the side and says, so you're telling me everybody's not going to make it to heaven because they don't go to this organization? Well, they're not under this teaching. No, that is not what that means. But we're not getting into the heaven thing. So what you have to understand is your personal route has to have a reason. Your personal route has to have a reason. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? And when you do what you do, is it to help the people or to validate you? Are you doing what you do to help the people or to validate you? I just take some time. Because a lot of times I watch people, especially in the years I've gone to church. I will never forget this. We were in church one time, and while we were in church, I watched a young lady attempt to come and sing her song. The pastor would not let her sing her song, so she in turn got angry with the pastor and became belligerent. What you have to realize is, if you are a spiritual person, you are assigned to a moment. Once you're assigned to that moment is not on a pastor, on a doctor, or a leader. That moment is between you and God. So your meditation gives you access to that thing. But what has happened is your route has been defined by who you now identify with. you identify with the whatever organization, denominational, non-denominational. And so what happens is you think that those things that are against the church are bad, and those things that line up with what the church's mandate is are good. So she was not wrong, or she was right. She was not right, but what she was is immature, because what she was attempting to do is make something happen that she felt should happen, and maybe it wasn't something according to her spirit. There is no bad, there is no good. You're either on the path or you're not. If you're on the path, you're going to grow within the path. Now I'm going to make a statement that everybody that goes to church is probably going to like or dislike. The first thing I'm going to make is this statement right here. Let me just go ahead and do this on here. What's your personal route? Meaning, how do you get to God? If you have limited your ability to get to God by going to a religious organization or a church, and that is how you access God, you have done yourself an injustice. The key to a religion is to monitor and create access to who you are spiritually. If I am not creating access to who you are spiritually, I'm wasting your time and the opportunity for you to be in wherever you're attending, wherever place of worship you're attending. You are now limited by that. So what is your route? That means, what do you do consistently that takes you to the location that's going to produce wealth, that's going to produce peace, that's going to produce long life? Where do you go? You need to get to a person and a place, a point of meditation and a place of prayer. Number 2, personal routines. Personal routine. This one is huge. This one is huge because personal routines tend to put us in the mindset of what I do every day. There are 2 types of things. Well, there are a number of types of things, but I want to address 2. The things that you do because you've been conditioned to do them, the things that you do because you're told to do them, and the things that you do because you love yourself. Most of us, we love ourselves to the extent that we don't feel like we make other people uncomfortable because we love ourselves. That's as far as we'll go with love, self-love. I don't want anybody to think I'm all that or think I'm all that or believe I'm all that. I was talking to my wife one time, and I said something to her that was rather intelligent, I believe. She said, and I said, she said something to me, and I said, well, that happened that. She said, you think you're smart, don't you? I said, yeah. She said, I would tell you you're smart, but I don't want you to get big head. And I said, why? She said, what? I said, why? Why don't you want me to get big head? She goes, because and she said, I don't know. We've heard things so long that we take those things and we use those things against the people that she just basically said, I don't want you to feel like you're smart. I don't want you to feel like you're intelligent. Do you know how many times we do stuff like that? Why? Because we don't want that person to feel like they're good at something or they have, but we will search other people and be aware of their goodness and not aware of the people around you's goodness. Those people, you need to start speaking life into those people. That needs to be part of your everyday routine. You speak life to those people. Your personal routine. Now here's the one now. The last one was routine ability, responsibility. But here's the other one that got me. The other thing is, you are not accountable, or you are not held accountable for the laws that are about the environment that you're in. Now, that's not what I'm saying, though. Hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you don't have to worry about driving down the roads fast. I'm saying that the laws, the wives' tales, those things don't apply to you. They don't apply to you. So your hand itching does not mean it's money. Because what you have to do is be aware of where he wants you to access the money. Now, if your hand itches and you get money, it could be a coincidence. And guess what? It could be your spirit saying, I know this is the way to communicate with you, so I'm going to use it. So let me see. How many women do I have here? How many women do I have on the YouTube? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you are a woman. Because see, I was talking about this while I was doing my teaching. I was talking about this to one of the young ladies that helps me with my writing and all those kind of things. See, how I'm talking about this, and I said this question. She said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, you can't allow the wives' tales, the hurts, the fears, the disappointments, what people say about you, and the rules and regulations that we set as just unspoken rules to apply to your life if you're trying to become wealthy. Why? Because your spirit may lead you down a road where the rules and regulations say you're not supposed to go. For example, make sure my time is right. We're doing good. I got 15 minutes. For example, and I just saw a thumb go. I'm going to use her. Okay, Sandy. For example, Sandy is single. But Sandy's best friend, who is Tanya is dating a man. Tanya is dating this really nice man. He's a great guy. Okay? He's a wonderful guy. But Tanya just abuses this man. She just uses him and she's really, really mean to this guy. So Tanya finally gets tired of him and decides Tanya, who is Sandy's best friend since high school, Sandy's best friend, and Tanya dumps this guy. Goes to the movies, dumps him. Just leaves him at the movie theater and goes to the store. Goes home. Goes home. Here's the deal. So when Tanya leaves the guy, Sandy just happens to be riding down the street. When she's riding down the street, she sees him come out. As she's going in the store, he's coming out of the store. So they cross paths. And so Sandy says to Tom, where's Tamika? He said, oh, me and Tamika broke up. So Sandy, who had a dream about this man 2 weeks ago, is like, really? You guys are not together? So Sandy begins to talk to the guy. Just say, hey, let's hang out. So they go have coffee. Tamika comes and sees them and says to Sandy, you can't date him. I used to date him. Guys, that's a law. That's a law. And so Sandy says, well, maybe I should back away. First of all, no, Sandy should not back away, because that's stupid if you do. Why? Because if this is the man that your spirit says and your position, if this is the man for you, because Tamika couldn't have him, doesn't mean he's not yours. But guys, that's supposedly a law. But if you're spiritual, that does not apply to you. Why? Because you're not looking at Tom's physical. You're not looking at Tom's mental. You understand that that spiritual thing has connected you and Tom together, and you guys flow together like milk and honey. As a spiritual person, you have to be aware of your spirit, because those types of things will put you in a position where you're moving by your carnal or your physical and not by your spirit. But by your spirit, he may be the man for you. There is no, because I said, well, and then my friend said, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. I'm like, why? Because we dated. I know that person. And I said, well, let me see, how long before Sandy can date the guy? She said, I don't know. I said, well, then you're dumb. Because what belongs to you is yours. That's like me saying, hey, I got your $15,000, but I can't give it to you till I feel like it's time for you to get it. You can't do that. You as a spiritual person have to be aware of these things. You got to pay attention to those things. So what's your normal routine? Your routine is to hear God, hear the Spirit, hear the authentic you, walk in power. Stop walking like you're going to lose and walk like you're going to win. Same conversation. More different, same person, different conversation. I said to that person, they said, my schedule is really, really big. I'm just going to be really working and I'm working hard and all these kind of things. And I don't know if I can do all these things that I need to get done this and that month, because they're coming to my spiritual retreat. I said, so let me ask you a question. What's the problem? Well, I don't know what to do first or what not to do and what I should do and how I should do it. I said, let me ask you this question, though. If you were wealthy, could you do all the things? She laughed and goes, yeah. I said, then why aren't you operating your life as if you're wealthy? I'm not wealthy. You're not. Why aren't you wealthy? Well, no. Wealth has nothing to do with money. Wealth has to do with access. Now, let's take this to the third part of this. Check this out. I'm going to show you something. I just segued that. So now the third thing is spiritual purpose. Spiritual purpose. So now you look at the fact that you're wealthy. You walk into every situation like you're the winner and that you're going to win. And when you walk into these situations, what you find yourself doing is saying, okay, that's my husband. He knows it. You know it. You walk like he's your husband. You go into a situation that, okay, I can make all of this happen. Why? Because I walk in wealth. You know it, and you walk with confidence. You walk a different walk. You have a different swag. You have to be aware of what's the spiritual atmosphere you're in at that moment. You have to be aware of that. And the way that you're aware of that is your meditation and your prayer. Now, within that situation, you walk in the process of going, if God put it before you, he did not put it so you could try it. He put it in your path so you could win. That's the only reason it's there. The twofold things from Romans the 8th, 28 to 8 and 28. God, all things work together for them that love God. It works together for them that are called according to his purpose. So there's those that are loved and those that are called. So that means that if you love God, that means you allow him to inundate your spirit. You allow him to merge with you. That means all things are going to work together for the good. You can't look at the downfalls. When I bought stock for the first time, the young lady said to me, my credit. She said, you can't be a score watcher. If your score goes down, that's just a part of it. If your score goes up, that's just a part of it. What you have to understand is this is a part of the whole process. So you cannot look at when something happens crazy as a bad thing and you're going to lose. You have to look at everything like it's going to win. Now, spiritual purpose. What's the purpose? Be aware of the purpose of everything that you do. Because what you have to realize is some of the things are working out just the way they need to work out. I'm going to tell you a story. I don't know if my friend's on here now. I'm going to tell you a story. I have a friend of mine that they were trying to take her house. They're probably not going to take her house, but it doesn't matter. They're trying to take her house. So she calls me and says, what am I supposed to do? I hook up with some people. We're going to work on getting her house. And I said, but you got to realize you out of that house may be God's plan for your life. And of course, not understanding that, I said, well, pray about it. Later on that night, this person loves to travel, and this person is a writer. She actually can write. She's a journalist. She has a journalist degree. So later on that night, I get a call from a company you guys have heard about, Airbnb, who's saying they're interviewing for 12 people that they're going to fly around the world and allow them to live in Airbnbs and begin to write for travel writers, travel bloggers. And Airbnb is going to pay for it. 12 people, they're going to pay for it. And so when I tell her that, her whole purpose was to be that. I said, so the key, you either have to pay for this house or get rid of this house, because for the next 12 months, you're establishing a new level of finance and a new level of this, because I'm always aware. Y'all don't understand this. On Instagram, I'm aware. I'm always aware. I'm always aware. I am always paying attention. I'm aware when I'm watching Instagram. I'm aware when I'm watching TV. I'm aware because I understand that there is a level in the spirit that has absolutely nothing to do with the people that's around me. So I don't hate people. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't mad at nobody on this planet. This entire planet. Why? Because as I operate in the spirit, I told you, religion is the lowest form of spirituality. Christian is lower than that. But godliness is the part that's the best part, which means I don't hold grudges. Why? Because there is no repentance. There is no guilt in the spirit. You did it. You say you're sorry. You keep moving. You don't stay guilty about it. Now, people are going to stay guilty because they're immature in the spirit. People are going to stay mad because they're immature in the spirit. But why am I staying mad and allowing you to control me? Why? Because my spiritual purpose cannot take second seat to how I feel. My spiritual purpose cannot take a second seat to how I feel. If it does, I reduce to the level of the person that made me feel that way. I reduce to the level of the thing that made me feel that way. I reduce to the level of the situation that's made me feel that way. There's a passage in Deuteronomy that says you're above only and not beneath. I'm above a whole bunch of stuff, people. You're above a whole bunch of stuff, but you've allowed your environment to take you out of the power that was given to you at birth. So you have to be aware of what is the spiritual aspects necessary for this atmosphere. I got to be aware of where am I moving? What's my purpose? Let me show you this again. What is my spiritual purpose? What's the purpose of this? See, when you start to realize that you are not walking in this haphazard things that just kind of happen to you, you ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I there? Why are you watching this broadcast? Why are you listening to me? And you begin to go, what in the spiritual purpose do I need to be aware of? What do I need to see? Check this out. Ladies, when somebody says something against you, ask yourself this. What do I need to see when it comes to that person saying something to me or being mad at me? What do I need to pay attention? Is it the fact that I need to pay attention to the fact that this person may not need to be in my life? Because when you are spiritual, you become aware of the things that you keep trying to hold on to because you try to think for people. You try to think for folks. Well, I know how she feels. No, I don't know how you feel. So I'm going to ask you how you feel. No, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not going to sit and try to figure out what you're thinking. So I ask you, I don't have the mental capacity or the spiritual capacity to carry your thing and my thing too. I'm aware because I look for points of success. I don't look for reasons for failure. I look for points of success. So I don't get into a situation that is not going to produce success for me. I don't get into a circumstance that's not going to produce success for me. Why? Because I'm aware that there is a spiritual purpose to everything that is happening in my life. There is a spiritual purpose to everything that is happening in my life. When I got on YouTube, I was like, I don't know what this whole thing with YouTube is all about. But what I realized is that when I got on YouTube, I began to reach people that I never knew I would reach. I wasn't reaching them through Instagram. I didn't reach them through any other outlet. But when I got to YouTube, people that had known me for years began to follow, began to seek, why? Because now they had a platform where they could watch it when they wanted to. Now, Instagram has been good to me. So is TikTok. TikTok has been good to me. But what I had to realize is as I maneuver with the spirit, I have a level of peace. I'm not mad. I don't hate nobody. Why? Because the purpose of my life is not for me to dislike you or like you or the purpose, my spiritual purpose is to get information to everybody so that they can identify who they are and begin to operate in a level of who they are. There's some of you right now, you party, you do all these different things, but you are so empty inside, you don't know what to do. You don't know whether you love God or God loves you. You don't know anything. You're just empty inside. Now, that's not a bad thing because we all are to a certain extent. Because we live our lives defined by our tragedies. We live our lives defined by bad situations. And so when we hear things like this, we start going, he must know, she must know. No, the key becomes your spirit desires more. You don't have to take the things that you take because there's a spiritual purpose behind everything. If you're working, there's a purpose behind it. That's called paid training. If you're in a relationship and it's not a good relationship, that again, no bad, no good. It's called learning what not to do. But you have to be strong enough to say, this is enough, I'm done. But when you are spiritually weak or spiritually immature or spiritually lacking, you're going to attract or attach to the thing that seems the most powerful, and you hold on to it with the hopes that one day that thing will give you power, when you've been powerful the whole time. You've been powerful the whole time. You just were not aware of it. I love you guys. I really do. I need you to know that my ability to help you has nothing to do with my religious background or who I like or who I don't like. I help everybody. I never forget this woman that did everything in her power to destroy me. And then she called me up one day. I'm going to tell you the truth. Here, follow me here. Oh my gosh, she did so much junk to me. She and her friends just went in. And so I stopped dealing with her. One day I was doing something called Secret Shopper. When I was doing Secret Shopper, I was going to this particular bank to be a secret shopper. I'm not a secret shopper anymore. I used to be. When I was going to this bank for the secret shopper, I was supposed to go in the bank and see what their process was like for starting bank accounts. So I go into the process, and they said, the lady, she said, go to banks where you don't have an account so they can pull your name up. I said, cool. So I go to this particular bank. I know I don't have an account there. I walk into the bank. Remember, they dogged me. They dogged me. Dogged me. I went into the bank, and when I went into the bank, I told them, I said, hello, I'm William Dallas. I want to start an account in here. And the lady went through the whole process and talked about account. And she said, can I have your social security number? And the rule and the thing is, don't use a fake security number. Use your regular one. That's why you don't need to have a bank. Guys, they put my social security number into the system and my name came up. The man said, sir, you have a bank account here. I said, no, I don't. He goes, no, you do. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, okay. And he turned it around, and there my name was, William Dallas. And there my social security number was, whatever. And I said, okay, how much is in the account? Now, this was years ago. This was probably early 2000s. He said, there's $1,000 in this account. I said, so you're telling me right now I can take that $1,000 out of that account? And he said, yeah, it's yours. And I said, okay. So he brought me the paperwork for me signing up for it. He brought me the paperwork for signing up for it. When I looked at the paperwork, hear me, people. When I looked at the paperwork, the name of the young lady that dogged me was at the bottom of the paperwork. She had opened an account in my name. And the $1,000, she put $1,000 in the account. So the bank manager said, well, Mr. Dallas, you can have this money. I said, no, don't worry about it. Leave the money in the bank. And so he says, okay, because I mean, they had gathered together going, why would this guy not know he has money in this account? Because $1,000 is a lot of money, especially for that time. So I get off, I leave there, and I go and I pick up the phone. I get on my I go home and I make a phone call, and I call this particular young lady up. I call the whole group up. So I need y'all to get on the phone. They get on the phone. When they get on the phone, I said, in this particular bank, you open the checking account. And the lady said, oh, yeah. And I said, there's $1,000 in that checking account. She goes, how do you know? I said, because I went in an attempt to do something else, and they told me that $1,000 was in the checking account. She began to explain to me why I shouldn't touch the $1,000. I said, hold it. I didn't touch the $1,000. She said, what? I said, I didn't touch the $1,000. I said, I'm telling you to go get my social security number off that account as soon as you possibly can. Because I couldn't close the account because there was another number on there. I didn't take her social security number. I didn't take the money. I took none of that stuff. I said, it's all yours. That's not my money. That's your money. I don't have anything against anybody. If you dislike me, you don't know me. That's why I say you become spiritually minded. If you dislike me, you don't know me spiritually. Because if you knew me spiritually, you knew I am by no stretch of the imagination. You are not disliking you is not my spiritual purpose. Being mad at you is not my spiritual purpose. My hand itching, doing the things that people do is not your spiritual purpose. I am in my spiritual purpose. Are you in your spiritual purpose? So when you understand that, you become aware of the things that try to pull you out of your purpose. Last thing. You become aware of the things that try to pull you out of your spiritual purpose. Religion will pull you out of your spiritual purpose. Friendship, pull you out of your spiritual purpose. Family, pull you out of your spiritual purpose. Anger, pull you out. Fear, pull you out. Disappointment, pull you out. Lack of confidence in yourself, pull you. These things have the potential to pull you out. So you have to be aware of them. Because what has to take place, guys, is you have to put so much power in your spirit. Remember, your mind is like gunpowder. Your inspiration ignites it, and the spirit ignites your inspiration. So don't allow these things to decrease you. Stop all this. I'm speaking negative. I'm speaking positive. Speak truth. Just speak the truth. The truth of the matter is you can beat this thing and you can win. Just be aware of the things that try to pull you off and the things that try to make you move. Be aware of your atmosphere and operate like you always win. Operate like you always win. And you'll see change. You'll see change. You'll see change. Okay, guys. That's enough of that. That is the second installment to the 3 principles. Tomorrow is the last one, and we're going to talk about the timing and practical application. The timing and practical application. Now, I have decided to do something for those of you that are coming to the spiritual retreat. I've got a special offer for those of you that want to come to the spiritual retreat. So if you want to come, do not let money be an issue, especially about what I'm about to do. If you really want to come to the spiritual retreat, it will be on August 4th through the 8th. If you want to come to the spiritual retreat, I need you to go to my Instagram page and DM me. I have a special offer that I'm going to do. I have probably 4. Somebody called me yesterday. I've got 5 seats, 5 positions left. I've got 5 positions left. He said so many bars. I've got 5 positions left. And I want to make sure those 5 positions get into the hands of the right people. I got 5 positions left. Five rooms left. 5 rooms left. And I want to make sure those rooms get into the hands of the right people. So if you want to come to the spiritual retreat, go to my Instagram page. That is Instagram/Higher Talk. Go to my Instagram page. Go to the DM and say, I want to go. And those people that I call, I'm going to call 5 of you, and I'm going to give you something that will help you get there. I'm going to call you personally. This is not going to be go through a line and sign. I'm going to personally call you, and I'm going to make you an offer that will help you get there. Okay? So if you are interested and you've been on the fence about going, number 1, you got to have a passport, and number 2, you got to get your plane ticket is not involved in price. Your plane ticket is not in the price. If you are in that thing, if you want to contact me, DM me on my Instagram page, and I will make sure that I'm going to give you an offer that will help you get there. I will make you an offer that will help you get there. We will be in an all-inclusive resort. All-inclusive. You don't have to think about food. Every all-inclusive resort. But I need you to do that for the 5 rooms. Now, I'm not doing this tomorrow. That's today. You contact me today. You DM me today. I'll give you the offer. I'm not going to give everybody the offer because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm in any ways playing favoritism. You make a move. See, when you understand your environment, when you're aware, some of you have been wondering, are you coming? I just right now put you in a position where your spiritual person can now connect to the place. And the thing that you think is hindering you may not hinder you anymore. All right? All right? Okay. Again, I'm Uncle William Dallas. Uncle Dallas. And this is the Higher Standards Chronicles. And people, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. This is the last day. No, this is not the last day. This is the second day of the 3 principles. Principle number 1 was where are you? Knowing where you are and where you're going. Principle number 2, being aware of your environment. You want wealth? Know your plan. Where you are and where you're going. And in the middle, develop a plan. Number 2, be aware. Be aware of where your spirit can flow. Be aware of your atmosphere. Be aware of the 3. Be aware of your route, your routine, and your purpose. Okay? Be aware. And the final one we'll talk about tomorrow, 10:30, right here on YouTube, is the final one. And that's the one where we're going to kind of get into how you move and how you make money and all the things that you can do. Again, if you want to be a part of the not Power Cup, but if you want to be a part of the spiritual retreat, please DM me. I have 5 rooms left. 5 rooms left. And I'm going to get 5 people that want to be in those rooms, because I kind of let anybody whosoever will, let them come. 5 people want to get into those rooms. All right. I love you guys so very much. Again, see you tomorrow at 10:30 and bright and early, like my new shirt. Yeah. When I got shirts, because all my white shirts bled the whole thing out. All right. Talk to you later. Peace.